Welcome to Crimepedia. I am your host this week. My name is Morgan. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And with me, as always, is my true crime BFF. It is the lovely Cherry. Hello, Cherry.
Hello.
I have missed you. We've been off for, 2 weeks now?
Yeah,
So
last
how
week
are things going?
Oh, good. Last week I was at the Torquay Museum. It was like it's true crime on the coast. It was crime on the coast festival, kind of like a festival, and it was crime authors, not all true crime authors, but authors of crime. And I got to moderate a panel, which was amazing. I got new books, which is also really good. So it's very dangerous sending me to somewhere that sells books. So I got a really, really good book by a lady called Margaret Barnes, who is a former defense barrister for the Old Bailey. Oh my God, what an interesting woman.
Wow.
She was so interesting. So I've got both of her books and I've been reading those this week and they're very, very good. She's a really, really interesting woman.
Sounds really good. I'm glad
It
you had a
was
good time.
really good. Yeah, I had a great time. Thank you. Got to say thank you very much for, now I think I'm saying this right, KLC in KY, who left us a 5-star review. Thank you so much for your review. She or he, I'm not sure if that's a girl or a boy, but they said, love the show. Missed the vibe of your earlier episodes though. Miss Cherry's off the wall comments and hilarious reactions. Some people may think they're inappropriate, but I think they bring a bit of relief from the heaviness of the topic and keeps things real. I agree. We have tried to tone our off the wall comments down a little bit purely because people do think they're a bit inappropriate. So if you do want more of that, you'll have to join our Patreon because that's when it all comes out because it's not edited and it's just literally the two of us talking for half an hour, mostly about food, but about all different things. So sometimes it's quite serious though, our Crimepedia Extra episodes. Some have been quite serious, and particularly the one we did after Natalie Bollinger's episode. That one was it was like us kind of debriefing out of that episode, and that was quite a heavy after one. But there are quite a lot of silly things on there as well. Morgan and I discussing psychics and all sorts of different things. So if you do want to
anything and everything,
you can just
basically it's just like a brain vomit of thoughts.
Well, it's just like a telephone conversation between the two of us. It's just our normal conversations, to be fair. So but thank you very much for your review. We really do appreciate it. And the more reviews we get, obviously, if they're good, we get pushed up the charts a little bit, which helps our podcast immensely. So we do appreciate all of your reviews. Thank you very much.
Yep. And if you do want to join our Patreon, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Crimepedia, and you can sign up. You can listen to our Crimepedia extras. We also have Crimepedia Case Closed, which I think we owe one. I think at this point
you do. It's your turn.
It is my turn, and you can sign up for as little as $2
like
$2 a month, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Do it. Why not?
So not a whole lot.
Yeah, ask for it for Christmas. That's a good idea. You don't want to pay for it yourself. Just say, you know what I want for Christmas? Don't get me books. You just get me a subscription to Crimepedia Extra. Why not?
Be amazing.
Yeah. So what have you got for us this week?
So today we have a disappearance of a 3-year-old boy in Columbus, Ohio. So this is the disappearance of Cody Stepp. 25 years ago, a 3-year-old boy was reported missing after disappearing while playing in a backyard. While police investigated the case as a potential abduction, detectives would discover troubling information that would put all of their initial beliefs into question. Had the boy been abducted, sold to another family, or was he dead? This is Crimepedia, and this is the disappearance of Cody Stepp. All right, Cherry. Aaron Cody Stepp was born on September 24th, 1993 in Columbus, Ohio, to Robin Yvonne Stepp. In January 1994, Cody would begin living with his grandmother, Janice Stiles, and his aunt, Mickey Stepp, on Hosack Street in the Reeb-Hosack neighborhood of Columbus. Now, this is a very, I'd call it a blue-collar neighborhood.
Okay.
A lot of the area is, a lot of people in the area worked for Buckeye Steel, which was a steel
Right.
manufacturing place, like
Yeah.
just to the south of where they lived. Um, and it was between High Street and Parsons, which Parsons was a notoriously very rough street. Um,
Okay.
so a lot of drug dealers, a lot of prostitution happening
Okay.
on Parsons. I'm
Right.
familiar with the area. Actually live just to the north of this neighborhood, probably about a
Wow.
mile away. Um, but the neighborhoods were really very different.
Mm.
Our neighborhood was a lot safer. I mean, even though we were just a mile away, our neighborhood was considered a lot safer than
Yeah.
what the neighborhood they were living in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Cody's mother, Robin, had struggled with addiction and occasionally worked as a prostitute and had a history of petty theft and armed robbery charges. She was continually in and out of jail, which would eventually lead to her losing custody of Cody. In
Oh.
1995, Robin would be sentenced to 2.5 years in prison on theft charges. And in December 1996, Mickey would petition and receive legal custody of Cody. On the evening of March 11th, 1997, Mickey had to go to a nearby corner store to buy a bag of chips. At the time, 3-year-old Cody was playing in the backyard of a vacant home at 220 Hosack Street. While Mickey was going to the store, she believed that Janice would be watching Cody. However, Janice was under the impression that Mickey was taking Cody with her.
Oh no.
Now, by the time Mickey arrived back at the house, less than 30 minutes later, Cody was gone. They would immediately report Cody as missing. Columbus police, with the assistance of the FBI, would quickly begin the search for the young boy. All available patrol officers, detectives, and recruits were called in to help in the search. Officers would go door to door interviewing everyone they could in the neighborhood. Helicopters circled the city, and a K-9 team were called in. Now, a team of nearly 100 officers combed through the vast wooded area running along the nearby Scioto River.
They got on this quick then.
They got on very quick,
Really
very
quickly.
quick,
That's really good.
which normally, I mean, the
Normally
cases
it's
that
not
we've
that
covered
quick, is it?
before,
Yeah.
they're really slow to respond.
Yeah.
Now, on March 12th, this was the following day, Columbus police believed that they had resolved the case quickly when a young boy around Cody's age and matching his description was seen wandering around the campus of the Ohio State University, which is probably, I would say, between 5 to 10 miles north of the area.
Whoa. For a little
So
kid
it'd
that
be
small, yeah.
that's yeah,
To get
that's
that
a
far,
long
that's a
way
worry.
away.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
Now, however, after finding the boy, it was determined that he was not Cody. Investigators would tell local media that they were treating the case as an abduction, and that they would also tell reporters that they hadn't ruled out the possibility that Cody was missing due to a family dispute between Robin and Mickey. All right.
Okay.
This is because Robin, his biological mother, was scheduled to be released from prison the
Oh,
morning of March 12th after serving 17 months in prison. So the night that Cody goes missing, that they report him missing, is the night before his mother is going to be out of jail.
oh, the night before. Okay, so she's not out already.
Yeah.
So it's not the fact that she's abducted
No.
him then. Okay.
No. So they report him missing on the 11th.
Mm-hmm. And she
Robin
gets out on
isn't
the
released
12th.
until the morning of the 12th.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, of course, police believe this because they thought it was quite odd that he would go missing right before Robin may have
Yeah.
been able to get him back.
Yeah.
On March 13th, 1997, the Columbus Dispatch would report that a neighbor had seen Mickey and Janice removing items from a backyard shed at around 6:45 p.m. the night of the 11th, but had not seen Cody outside. Now, this would have been just 15 minutes prior to Mickey making her trip to the store. Neighbors would also point out that it would have been odd for Cody to have been playing in the neighbor's yard, seeing that the neighborhood was not considered safe with the numerous drug dealers and prostitutes in the area.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah, they said it would have been very strange for him to be playing in a vacant yard or
Yeah,
the
of
yard of a vacant
course.
home by
Yeah.
himself.
By himself because he's only small.
He's very small. On March 15th, Robin would find herself back in jail after soliciting an undercover officer
Oh
at
dear.
around 7:30 in the morning, just a few blocks away from Janice's home on Hossack Street. So she's out for 2 days before she's right back in jail. Police would then return to the vacant property on Hossack Street on March 19th. Now, police had conducted a search of the shed on the property the night Cody went missing, but needed a search warrant in order to complete a thorough search. While police found no relevant evidence that helped in the search for the young boy, a search of Janice and Mickey's home caused some concerns to the investigators. Well,
Oh, I'm starting to get a bad feeling about these two.
you're going to get a very an even worse feeling about them here in a little bit.
Okay.
While a few articles of children's clothing were found inside the home, there was very little evidence found that indicated that Cody had actually been living there. Police found no toys and found no pictures of Cody anywhere in the home.
That's
So
weird.
if you hadn't been told that Cody lived there, you would not have known that a child was in that home at any point.
Which is odd because when you walk into it, if you've got kids, you know how much stuff they have and how much space they take up,
Mm-hmm.
So that's really strange.
And even if you're, low income, you should have at least some sort of toys or something
That's
for the
right.
kid.
You normally would have something, wouldn't you? It would be very, very rarely is there nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
It's very, very strange. In talking to neighbors, police began to realize that no one had actually seen Cody in months prior to his reported disappearance, with the last known confirmed sighting being in May of 1996.
No way. So
So
where the
this was
hell has he been?
10 months before his reported disappearance was the last time that anyone actually was able to confirm seeing him.
And he was how old?
3.
So usually you have like doctors, the kids go for like injections and they go for things like that. So usually at that kind of age, surely he would have been under the care of some kind of professional.
I am glad that you asked about that.
Okay.
Because police would learn that Cody had supposedly been at a doctor's appointment a few weeks prior to his disappearance to get some vaccinations. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, when investigators checked with the doctor, they found out that Mickey had actually brought a neighbor's kid to the appointment in an attempt to pass him off as Cody.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
So the boy, they found out who the boy was. Mickey had that boy stay the night with them, as they were like he was gonna have a sleepover with Cody. And the following day took him in to get vaccinations and said, "This is Cody." And
what did
the
his
boy
parents say about that?
They had no idea.
Oh my God. That's horrific.
They had no idea.
I'd be kicking some ass if they tried that with my kid.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what a weirdo. Why would you do that? Why would you pass your kid off as somebody else's kid off as yours unless that kid's not around? And that's why.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awful.
So things aren't looking good at all.
Well, no, not at all.
Mm-mm. Now, according to Robin, she had last seen Cody in December 1995. Now, she claimed that both her sister and mother refused to let her speak to him when she called from prison, usually stating that he was busy or playing with a friend. Now, this would also happen anytime friends or family came to visit the home, with Mickey and Janice claiming that he was with a friend or playing in a back room.
Yeah,
so,
I'd want to find him.
Yeah, so no one has spoken to him. No one had seen him. He's gone.
That's crazy.
Now, in July 1997, this is just 4 months after his disappearance, there was an unconfirmed sighting of Cody in Pennsylvania. A witness reported seeing a child matching Cody's description between 3 and 6 p.m. at a restaurant in Bellefonte.
That's hard though, isn't it? Because how many little kids look the same? I mean, seriously.
I know, exactly.
Kids do
absolutely
look very, like your average 5-year-old, blonde hair, blue eyes. I mean, a lot of them look very, very similar. So that's really difficult, missing persons, to find a kid.
Very.
Yeah, unless they've got something really distinctive, it's difficult to see one over the other.
And Cody actually did have a distinguishing feature. I can't
Okay.
remember off the top of my head. One of his
Yeah.
ears had like a fold in it.
Oh, okay. A bit like
So
Andrew. That's what we had in the Andrew Gosden case. He had a
yes,
fold, like a
exactly.
folded ear. So yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's
So the
interesting. So he
exact same
does have
thing. Yep.
something really like that. It's actually quite. What's the word? I can't think of the word.
Distinguishing.
Yeah,
That's
distinguishing. There's
distinguishing
some.
feature. Yeah,
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it?
it is. Yeah. Now, apparently, this child was accompanied by two unidentified adult females, along with two additional children at the time. Now, one of the women was described as a Caucasian female, which had medium length dark hair. Her age was said to be between 30 and 40 years old and weighed about 130 pounds. Description of the second woman was reported as a Asian or Pacific Islander with very short dark hair. She's said to have been in her late teens, early 20s, and wore dark frame glasses, full length jeans, or denim shorts. Neither of these women nor the children were ever identified. So now there was some thought that he could have been in Pennsylvania. Um,
Right.
so I think that might be why people might have been um, why there might have been a possible um, sighting of
Sighting of
him
him.
there.
Yeah.
Because if
Okay.
you know that, hey, keep a eye out for this kid, and you're in this area, of course you're going to be more vigilant. So,
Yeah.
um, but once again, this is unconfirmed. No one knows if this was him or not. My guess is it's probably not. Um,
Right.
just knowing what we even what we know so far, just it'd be tough to think that this was him.
Okay.
Now, a year after his disappearance, while there was hope that he had been handed off to an extended family members in either Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, police
Mm.
began to admit that there was a possibility that Cody was dead. Police would tell local media that Mickey had failed two lie detectors tests and Janice refused to take one. They also stated that both women had stopped cooperating with law enforcement altogether and had not been checking up on the case at all.
Slap their asses in jail. Slap them straight in jail. Leave them in there. You're not going to be checking
Oh
up.
yeah.
You're not even worried. If you're not
Mm-mm.
checking up with police, if you're innocent, you'd be fighting. What the hell? Where the hell is this kid? He's gone missing. We haven't seen him. You need to be doing something. If you're not even checking and you're not cooperating with police, why? Why aren't you?
Because you
It
have
seems
something to
very
hide.
exactly. It seems very suspicious to me straight away.
Well, something did happen in the spring of 1998, which kind of brought forth more allegations and information about Mickey and Janice. So in spring 1998, Robin began filing paperwork to have Cody declared legally dead. Okay.
Right.
Now, in the state of Ohio, under normal circumstances, an individual must be missing for a period of 5 years in order to raise the presumption of death. So
Right.
we're talking
Okay.
just a year later. So of course it has been 5 years. So
Hmm.
what Robin was hoping was that she would be able to get an exemption with a ruling that Cody had been exposed to a specific peril of death. So there's an exemption um, within state law that states if you could show that a person who's missing was exposed to a specific peril of death, that they could rule them dead prior to that 5 years. Okay, now
Why do
this
we need to
exemption
rule
is
this
you.
kid as dead? Like, why do we need to rule the kid as dead?
There's a specific reason why.
Right. Okay.
Um, and the reason is so in the state of Ohio, there is a statute of limitations in regards to filing suit against person for wrongful death.
Right.
So you have 2 years from the time that you learn that a person could be dead to
Right.
file this lawsuit. Okay.
Okay.
So I believe that they're trying to get this exemption so that they can then go after Mickey and Janice for wrongful
For
death.
wrongful death, I see. So they have to try and get
So
the ruled as a death first before they can go against them for that.
mhm,
Right. Okay. That makes
exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Now the problem with this exemption is it's usually only used in cases where a person was in a situation in which something very bad was likely to have happened, such as a plane crash,
Yeah, of course,
where a
or a
body
car
was
accident. Yeah.
where a situation where the body was unable to be recovered, right?
Right. Okay.
Like I said, many members within the media viewed this as the first step of Robin filing the wrongful death suit
Yeah.
against Mickey and Janice. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, on August 24th, 1998, Robin, along with her lawyer, Michael Moore, appeared before Judge Lawrence Belkis in probate court. They would petition the court to enter a presumption of death based upon Cody's potential exposure to the cold weather on March 11th, 1997, as well as his extreme vulnerability as a lost 3-year-old on the south side of Columbus, and the inference that he had lived in an abusive home. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the judge would actually quickly issue a ruling that witness testimony was largely speculatory and stated that, and I quote, "At this point, we do not know if the child is missing, sold for ransom, or murdered, or fell down a well." He would go on to rule that there was not enough evidence to declare Cody dead. So this was immediate, right?
Yeah. Which is
But what
true.
was
There isn't really any, sufficient evidence to rule a death. There isn't. I mean, they could have
no
sold this.
exactly,
They could have sold this kid to another family. You know.
exactly.
So there's not actually any concrete evidence or any even suspicious, slight evidence that this kid could have died.
Hmm.
It's just because they can't find him. They're sort of thinking, okay, he's probably dead. But I mean, that doesn't say that these people haven't sold this kid to
Exactly,
somebody.
exactly.
Hmm.
Now I will say that even after making this ruling, the judge did something right. He did one thing that was absolutely right. He would call for witness testimony from those who were already present, so that the transcript of the case could be used in any future appeals.
Good
Right.
work.
So even though he said, he made his ruling like, no, we can't rule him dead.
Mm,
I still want to hear what people have to say, and we're
yeah.
going to have it on record. And you can, so anytime you want to go back to this and try to appeal, you have it available to you.
It's a shame he
Okay.
didn't rule for them to be taken into a side room and have the shit beaten out of them, to be fair.
Right. I know.
At least then we might get some answers.
You're about to get even angrier here.
Oh, here we go. Oh, God.
Okay. Now, this hearing would end up lasting 4 hours with 12 witnesses testifying in the case, including Columbus police officers who testified that they had reasons to believe that Cody may have been dead, but had no evidence to prove his death. Okay. Now, Mickey would give testimony during the hearings, stating that she did feel responsible for his disappearance, but maintained that she had been trying to find him ever since. Which,
Really?
mm,
Okay.
mm. Now, she did state to the court that Cody had been wearing a light jogging suit when he went missing, even though it was just 28 degrees outside at the time, right?
Mm.
So what she said he was wearing was not something that you would have a 3-year-old kid outside wearing
Yeah.
and playing in, right? Now, during the hearing, Michael Moore would allege that Janice and Mickey had conspired to rid themselves of Cody, all while continuing to spend the $279 a month welfare check
Bingo.
that they had been receiving for him.
There it is.
Mm-hmm. Now, this allegation was denied by both women, who maintained that Cody had been in the home until the day he just disappeared.
Well, then why did you try and pass the kid off as some other kid off as him then if he was there all the time? They're obviously lying.
Exactly.
And we've got 2 failed polygraph, and I know they don't stand up in court, we've got 2 failed polygraph tests and 1 refusing to take a polygraph. So
Yes.
it's not looking good for them straight off, is it?
Yeah, you have 2 people not cooperating with the investigation, not seeming to have any care of this, what's going on with this boy.
Taking some other kid to have inoculations when it's not the kid they're supposed to be taking. Who does that? Who even does that? It's ridiculous.
That is so dangerous.
Exactly.
That is so dangerous for the kid.
The kid could have been allergic or anything. So, I mean, why aren't they being prosecuted for that to start with?
Exactly. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Oh.
Now, one of the most shocking allegations that came out of the hearing was directed towards Janice. Okay. Now, during the investigation into Cody's disappearance, detectives would learn that Janice may have had a history of child abuse.
Oh,
okay.
shit.
In 1964, Janice had a 2-year-old daughter named Teeny who died.
Oh.
Okay. Now, her death certificate indicated that her death was from pneumonia caused by bronchitis. However, her autopsy showed that her body was covered in burns in various
Oh,
stages of healing. Okay, which means that those burns didn't occur at the same time. So this little girl, this little 2-year-old girl, had been burned on multiple occasions.
do you know what? I am fizzing. I am fizzing with anger. To me, there is no place in this world for people who harm kids, abuse kids, sexually or otherwise. There's no place in the world for them. And I don't
No.
care whether you're an activist for human rights or not, they should be put on an island and blown up. There is no place on this earth for people that hurt children. It's
Mm-hmm.
disgusting. It is
Yeah.
disgusting. And she should
Yep.
never have been allowed to have any contact with any kid ever again if she's got a 2-year-old that's covered in burns. Okay,
Yeah.
once a little kid touching something they shouldn't, accidents happen, not a problem. This, you're a parent, not a superhero. Kids
Mm-hmm.
do touch things they shouldn't. They do hurt themselves and they do burn. Multiple cover, 2 years old. 2 years old.
Yes.
I would
Yes.
love to be put in a room with somebody like that with a baseball bat because there's just no excuse for it. It makes me
No,
so
there's not.
angry. She should never have been put in a responsible adult position taking care of another child. She shouldn't have had any parental responsibility whatsoever.
Now, this is just a side note about Janice. Okay, so we'll continue on with Janice and Teeny here in a second, but it's also believed that Janice had began prostituting her daughters, Mickey and Robin, starting at the age of 12 or 13 years old.
Janice is an arsehole.
Yeah.
What is wrong with that woman? You can't prostitute your own kids. You can't prostitute anyone's kids out. How can you do that to your own children? How? How can you put them through something like that? Your job as
No.
a parent is to protect your children. You're not some stinking old sweaty fat man all over your daughters. It's disgusting. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so angry. It's just I can't do cases like this because
I
I could
know.
never work in the profession of child care. I just couldn't do it because
Child welfare.
I
Yeah.
would just want to kill them. I would just want
Hmm.
to just electrocute a lot of them.
Yeah. It's terrible.
And for me,
A
just putting
relative.
them in jail isn't sufficient for me. People that torture and hurt kids like that, it's not sufficient just
Because
to put them in prison.
they're not. They won't learn. There's no lesson for them to learn in
But
sitting in prison.
And I know we've had the argument with some of our listeners before that, yeah, okay, it's an illness that they've got. Okay, so they've got an illness, but they should never be allowed near any other kids again. They should be locked in a room
No.
on their own forever. Okay, they got an illness, sorry about that, but you should never be able to inflict that illness onto unsuspecting young children.
Exactly. Yeah. Who can't defend themselves.
It just makes me so mad. It's so bad.
Hmm.
I hate these cases. We should not do these anymore.
I know we shouldn't, but we need to because they're very important to do.
Yeah, of course. But I just hate it.
I don't
Ugh.
I don't like these cases either, but these
No.
are cases that need to be talked about.
Definitely.
One way or the other, they need to be talked about.
Because this needs to
Because
stop.
these victims, all the victims are voiceless.
Yeah.
They hadn't
Nothing.
they did nothing wrong.
And they've got no way of sticking up for themselves. At 2 years old, that kid's got no way of protecting itself, sticking up for itself. It's it's disgusting. It's just awful. Absolutely awful.
Now, a relative would tell investigators that when Janice was potty training Teeny, she would place Teeny on the potty for 8 to 10 hours at a time.
Oh God.
And if Teeny had an accident at any time during the potty training, she would sit her on a hot stove as punishment.
I can't do that.
No.
I can't
Mm-mm.
even comprehend stuff like that.
Why?
I just want to smash her
Why?
face in. I can't. I don't understand. I don't understand how you can do that to a small child. I don't understand you
In
can do that to
any
an adult.
world,
An adult,
in
let
any
alone a
situation, in
tiny
any
little
world,
kid.
how is that right? How would that be right in any situation?
I don't understand anybody that can stand up and defend somebody like that. And if you've got a defense for it, by all means, get in touch. But I'm never going to see your point of view. I don't understand. I just don't. I don't get it. That woman doesn't deserve a life.
Now, the same relative would tell investigators that Teeny had been sick in bed for days before she was brought in for medical treatment before her death. Now, while Janice denied ever abusing her children, this was actually refuted by one of her own daughters, Diane Carls.
Hmm.
Now, Diane would testify that Janice had tortured Teeny before her death and was abusive to other children as well. She would tell the court that Janice had a temper and had once beaten her so bad that she lost consciousness.
That's awful. Think of how many families there are out there that don't have children. How many people are
Yeah.
desperate for children and would quite happily take on a tiny child like that and love them and nurture them. And that kid is in the care of that woman. It's just, you can't even call her a mother, because no mother does that to their child.
No.
No mother does that to their child. It's disgusting.
No. Now, investigators who read Teeny's autopsy reported to have stated that it was completely sickening and disturbing, and that they had a hard time trying to understand why Janice was never charged with murder at the time.
And Cody's mum didn't know this. Was she unaware? Because there's no way I'd be leaving my kid with somebody who's got a background like that.
Robin was probably abused as well, right? So there's the talk of Janice. Well, Janice
Well, she prostituted
prostituting
her daughters out,
them.
didn't she? Yeah.
Yeah. Chances are Robin knew what Janice was like.
Yeah.
Mickey knew what Janice was like.
And oh man.
And and it wouldn't be shocking to me if Mickey took after her mom, and she was probably doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, like I said earlier, the judge had ruled that there was not enough evidence to rule Cody dead. Now, Robin would appeal this decision in June 1999, but the appeals court would reaffirm the ruling made by the judge that the fact that Cody was not properly dressed for the weather and Janice's history of abuse were not enough evidence to declare Cody dead based on the specific peril of death. Okay. Now, very little information has come out about Cody's case since the probate court hearing and appeal.
Mm.
On the 10th anniversary of Cody's disappearance, lead detective Jim McCoskey spoke to the Columbus Dispatch and stated that they got a few leads over the years, most of them in response to sightings that matched a new age progression picture of Cody, but none of them actually panned out. While he initially believed that Mickey had given him away in order to hide him from Robin, he no longer viewed that possibility as being plausible. At that time, he believed that Cody was either dead or had been sold into a culture like a pornography culture.
Oh God.
So I could see where, I don't know where he thinks that he might have been sold off to be in pornography. I hope that's not the case.
I
could
not.
see a situation where he might have been sold off. I see a situation where he might have been dead.
Mm.
I do see both of those being a possibility. Now, on September 17th, 2008, police responded to a tip about Cody's body being buried in a field off of Parsons Avenue, near where Cody had been staying with Mickey. They had unspecified reasons to believe that a tip that they received was reliable, and they had set up a tent in the field to work from. Police had a cadaver dog search the field, where he found 4 areas of interest. Police dug about an inch of dirt at a time away from all areas, but the dog only continued to alert on one of the spots after the surface dirt was removed.
Uh-huh.
Now, they would end up digging fairly deep with a backhoe in this spot, but unfortunately did not find anything except some buried trash. Now, police had previously known about this field since about March of 2008, but had waited until rainfall had stopped enough to excavate the area, as it was very swampy. Now, police did not rule out the possibility of returning for another search, but eventually they stopped for the day. Robin observed the search and told reporters that she was not ready to believe that her son was dead. She said, "I believe he's still alive and wanting to come home." Now, there have been some possible sightings of Cody, One was in 2012 when investigators found a teenager in Kentucky whose full name was Aaron Cody Stepp. Okay.
Right.
Now, of course, he was in one of the states where Robin thought that he may have been taken to, and he actually matched one of the age progression pictures of Cody.
Right.
However, when investigators went to test his DNA, they found that he was not a match.
No.
The only other one I really want to mention was a potential sighting. This would have been in 2007. Now, this was actually posted as a comment to a blog post about the case. There was a user by the name of Linda Fox who stated that she had a reason to believe that Cody was alive and living near or in Lebanon, Ohio, which is about 90 miles south of Columbus, near
Right.
Cincinnati.
It's
Now,
quite
she stated that
close.
it is. She stated that she had picked up a small boy who looked to be around 9 years old back on December 12th, 2007, on her way home from choir practice. Now, he was about 3 miles east of Lebanon, walking towards Lebanon. When she then went on to describe that Cody seemed tired from walking, or the person, I shouldn't want to say Cody, that the boy seemed tired from walking a long time.
Yeah.
And he told her that he was meeting a friend, possibly a cousin named Jeremy, at a nearby McDonald's. Now, he had been walking in the rain and was wearing a coat that seemed to be too big for him. So she ended up picking him up, and on the way to taking him to a nearby McDonald's, he told her that he was 13 and being homeschooled, and that his name was Cody, but did not know what his last name was. And that she said that he thought it might have been Irwin.
Okay.
Now
she picked up a kid and didn't take it to like police. She picked up this kid and took it to McDonald's.
Did. She did. So after she dropped him off, she decided that she was going to take him. Well, I'm sorry. She decided at some point along the way that she was going to drop him off at a police station, thinking that he might have been a runaway. But once they got there, he ended up taking off and running away. And she reported it by both to Lebanon police and Columbus police because she stating, "Hey, there's a kid that I found," and by that point when she reported it, she had learned about Cody's disappearance,
right,
and decided that she needed to go ahead and report that.
Definitely.
Now, she stated that he matched a age progressed picture of Cody at the time, that he had blonde hair, blue eyes, and that he had an unusual shaped left ear with almost a notch at the top.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, no one was able to ever locate this boy.
Right. Shame.
To determine who it was. So, but it's interesting that, she has a very specific encounter with the boy who she
one-on-one too. Yeah.
One-on-one.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that she was able to talk about his odd-shaped ear.
Yeah.
So here's the one thing that I don't know. I don't know if when she reported this, like how much of Cody's information was already out there. Was she able to look up and see, oh, he had an odd-shaped ear, and then so now she's going back and thinking, okay, well, yeah, I think he did have it, and so now I'm going to report that this is the case. So, but the time of her encounter with this boy to when she actually made a comment about it was 12 days. So, is it possible that she actually did run into someone that could have been Cody? I guess so.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough to actually go and like verify any of this information because it's just a comment made on a blog post.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's tough. That is tough because hopefully that is true and she has encountered him and he's living with a family somewhere and he's okay. That's what we all want to think, isn't it? We all want to think that he's okay. He's gone to a nice family and he's living a good life. But that's just hopeful thinking, for us. It's just wishful thinking that it's a human thing, isn't it? You want to think the best. You want to think that, okay, a really nice family, they've sold him to a really nice family and he's living his best life. But listening to this and listening to the type of people they are, I can't see that that's the outcome for this poor little boy.
They had no interest in him living a good life. They had no interest in him living a
No,
good life.
no, not at all.
Um, I know that the current detective on the case believes that her belief is that Cody is still alive and that he was handed off to another family at some point.
Okay.
I don't know. Of course, there's probably information that they might have that kind of
I
points
got
to
a
that way.
feeling, do you know, I got a feeling the same. I got a feeling the same with this. For some reason, it just feels to me like he was handed off or sold off
Sold off.
or
I see it being sold off more than handed off.
But then you've got to look at it. If that woman is capable of beating her child to unconsciousness, how
Mhm.
far has she taken a beating to a poor little kid and that kid's not able to recover? One kid has already died. She's already beat her
Mhm.
other child unconscious. She's prostituted out her children.
Yep.
How feasible is it that she's gone that one step too far? It's quite feasible. Looking at her behavior and looking at the
Yeah.
history, it's quite feasible that she took that beating one step too far and the kid hasn't recovered. And then they've got to
Mhm.
cover their tracks because the kids died. So
I think it's completely obvious that they're trying to cover their
oh,
tracks with
obviously, yeah.
Cody not being around, right? That's obvious.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make it seem like, okay, yeah, he's been here the whole time. He's fine. He's healthy. And he just happened to just disappear the night before mom was going to be released from jail. But they've gone through the whole idea of taking another kid
Yeah, that's
to
just
have
weird.
vaccinations.
That's just weird.
That's you're trying to hide the fact that Cody's no longer with you.
That's right. And I mean, surely there's got to be some kind of law about protecting a child or being in possession of a child, not possession, but in control of a child or in an authoritative position with a child. Surely there's got to be some child endangerment thing that they can slap on these people. There's got to be
Mhm.
something that they can. I mean, because are they just now out free living their life as normal?
Well, if Nikki did something to Cody, unfortunately, she will never be brought to justice because Mickey died in 2004.
God damn it. I was going to say, I
Um,
hope she's listening to this and I hope that she can hear every single thing we're saying, but obviously not now.
and from what I can tell, everything I can tell, I believe Janice is still alive and still living in the same neighborhood.
Well, I hope Janice has got access to the internet and I hope Janice is Googled. It's her grandson, isn't it? I hope that she's Googled his name. She finds this
Mm-hmm.
podcast and she hears this. You, lady, are just awful. And you don't
Yeah.
deserve to be living and walking free because you're just disgusting. Disgusting human being. And you really, really need. Karma is a bitch. And I really hope that karma
It is.
comes and slaps it right on your ass. I really hope so.
Yeah.
I really,
Yeah.
really hope so.
The the one thing about this case that I made me feel, I don't want to say, there's nothing about this case that makes me feel good. Let me just rephrase that. But the one thing that I appreciated was, even though Robin had her own problems, okay, she had problems with drugs, she was prostituting herself,
Hmm.
um, was the fact that the police never downplayed her role as a mother and
No.
her position as being a mother with a child who is missing.
Do you know what? Prostitution is just a job. Sex work, prostitution, it's a
Mm-hmm.
job. It's a way for these
Yeah,
people to make money. Okay, what they
yeah,
spend it on, it's not, I mean, quite a lot of the time it's drugs because that's unfortunately the situation they've got themselves into. You would probably have to be
mm-hmm.
high as a kite to do that job because it's not a nice job. And I salute
Yeah,
those women for trying to make a better life for their kids. There are women that are sex workers that are funding themselves through college, that are trying to make stuff better for their kids. They're trying to build a better life. They're trying to get educations. They weren't born themselves into a decent household. And there are so many women that are trying really, really hard. So I've got nothing bad to say about women that work in the sex industry. It's not an easy job to do. It's not a job they want to do, but it's the age-old job that will always make you money. It's the one thing that you
mm-hmm.
don't need any qualifications for. You use what you've got and you earn your money that way and you make your life better. So I've got nothing to say about her being a sex worker whatsoever. That doesn't affect
Yeah.
the kind of mum she is. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah, she got put straight back into jail as soon as she got out. Unfortunately, that's happened. But
She had she cleaned herself up.
yeah, good for her.
She unfortunately she's 53 years old, and unfortunately she does have terminal lung disease.
Oh, she's had a bad
Um, which
run.
so she came out earlier this year. It's
Mm.
been 25 years, and she just wants to know what happened to her son.
Of
And
course she does.
and her hope is that she's able to get some sort of answer before
Yeah.
she passes.
And I really hope that he has been sold off to a nice family. I hope that that's what's happened. I really do. That
Yeah.
would be the best outcome, in that this little boy is growing up somewhere. I just recently read an article in England, actually, a woman who, I think it was the woman who was in America. Her daughter had been abducted as a tiny child, and it was something like
Yeah.
50 years, and they found, through genealogy, they found her
Yep.
daughter, and they've just reunited mum and daughter
Isn't that
again.
amazing?
So there's a hope. There is hope for this. There's nothing concrete saying that this boy is dead. There's nothing.
No,
There's
there's not.
nothing like that. So we have to be optimistic. You've got to keep all your options open, in that hopefully this assholes have sold him to another family that are desperate for a child, and that these people have brought him up and they've given him love, and he's clothed and he's warm and he's fed and he's okay. That's the best outcome that we can hope for. And we have to think, you can't just write him off as dead without anything. You can't. You've got to keep everything open. And I hope she gets the news that actually your boy's fine and he's great and he's in school and he's growing and he's clever and he's living a really good life. Because then at least she can pass away knowing that her boy's good.
So I think he would be 28 or 29 now.
Yeah. So let's hope he's in a good job somewhere with his own family, maybe. You know? And hopefully he doesn't remember anything that happened to him when he was 3 years old.
Oh, God, please.
Let's hope he doesn't remember anything from that age.
I hope.
I think my first memory was 4 years old. The first memory I can remember properly, I think I was about 4. So let's hope that he has no recollection of the people that he was with. Let's hope.
And and chances are if he's sold off, he's in a much better situation.
I hope so. I really, really hope so.
Because he's with 2 women. He was living with 2 women who had no care for him at all.
Let's not get back onto the subject of those 2.
I know. So that is this week's unfortunate case.
It's just horrible, isn't it? I hate it. I hate the people just that do things like that. I just can't.
I don't know how you can. I don't know how how as a human you could abuse someone.
My hat goes off to all those officers that work in the children's services like that go there and that put people like that in prison.
Oh my God.
I have friends that work in that field, and they are honestly superheroes, absolute superheroes, the stuff that they see.
Yeah. It's,
well, I don't really want to thank you for this week's case because it was horrible and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No, we don't have to talk about it anymore.
I understand why you brought it to attention. It is important, but perhaps I'm not the best co-host for these cases.
No,
we're gonna get we're gonna get letters in saying letters in saying, "Oh, Cherry, you've got to understand that these are people too." No, I'm sorry, you'll never change my mind. No, absolutely not. There's no point in emailing in because I'm literally just going to put your email in the bin. I'm not even going to read it. If it looks positive and pro these people, it's going straight in the recycling bin, and I won't even read it.
You can't. No, you cannot be pro.
Literally, like every muscle in my stomach is just tight, and my hands are sweaty, and I'm so mad. I can't comprehend cases like this. I really can't.
Who was it? KLC in KY.
Yeah, the person that gave us the. Well, I hope it's not really fun. I didn't give you any funny off the wall comments, but
no.
bad reactions. There you go.
Bad
You want a
reactions.
bad reaction from me? Talk to me about child abuse cases. I'm literally just fizzing. But yeah. Well, it was, I don't want to say an interesting case. It was a case, let's just put it that way. And I hope the little boy gets found. So I'm going to lighten the mood a little bit because I think we all need it. At this point in the show is where we do our dumb criminal.
Hey, Captain Stupid Poopy Pants, use a dummy.
Right. Well, a 40-year-old criminal is a Captain Stupid Poopy Pants because Thomas Nagabo, I think that's how you say his surname, don't quote me on it because it's a very strange spelling. He had been on the run for 7 years. Now, he was wanted for stealing hardware products worth more than £1,000 that he was supposed to be delivering to his clients in 2015. Instead of delivering them to his clients, he went on the run. He diverted the hardware to another address without these owners' consent or knowledge, and then picked it all up and then sold it off, wanted to sell it off for himself to get his own money, okay? So this guy's from South Africa. And the police spokesperson, somebody called Brigadier Selvi Mohala, said that the suspect's dirty tricks were uncovered a week later after the manager decided to check invoices. So he's obviously realised, okay, this guy's up to no good. Thomas is not a good one. People are saying they haven't had their deliveries. He's saying that he has delivered them. So this guy goes on the run. So he's on the run for 7 years, okay?
Okay, yeah.
And then he's apprehended. Now, this is not down to clever police work. It's not down to detectives or anything.
Oh, no. Okay.
He takes himself to the police force, goes to the police station to check his application to join the police force.
No. No.
Why? If you're a wanted criminal, why would you go and try and join the police?
No.
So he's a man on the run. So he decides, okay, I'm fed up with being on the run. I know, I'll be a police officer. So he goes to try and join the police. Then goes in to check why his application hasn't been responded to. Because you're on the run, Sonny. That's why, you idiot.
So, did he just think that they're just going to be like, oh, okay, we're just going to give up on this guy?
Forget about him? Obviously. Apparently, he walked into the police station, gave his name, gave all his details. The police officer's like, what the hell? He came in to find out what the holdup was with his application.
They're like, okay, yeah, can you
come into this room
with us? Yeah, we're going to put you in this room right here.
Let's test out. I'm going to show you how you'd put handcuffs on a suspect. Clink. Sit
Clink.
down. You know? Come on.
No.
So yeah, he was apprehended on the 15th of August in 2022 after he visited the Bethel SAPS to make inquiries about his application to join the police.
He was doing so good for 7 years.
7 years. He was unapprehended. Yeah, they couldn't find him for 7 years, and then the silly sod decides to not even hand himself in, just check why they haven't responded to his application.
Oh my God. I want a career in law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come and be a policeman. You're on the run.
Yeah, sure.
Come and work for us instead.
Yeah, we're gonna give you a job in one of our prisons. You know, you get to
sit in the cell all day.
Sit in the cell all day.
Yeah. Report back to us on how the other criminals feel.
So, moral of the story is, if you are a criminal on the run, don't try to become a policeman.
Yeah, don't consider a career in law enforcement because it's probably not the best career for you.
No, definitely not. Oh my God.
What a great.
These are endless.
I know.
The dumb criminals are endless. Thank you, dumb criminals out there.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving us material. Thank you very much. Yeah. So yes. Well, thank you very much for joining us. If you want to catch up with us, you can do. If you want to give us a review, we will love you forever. You can do that via whatever podcast thing that you listen to. We were really happy this week because a lot of people got their Spotify roundups, didn't they? And then we had a lot of people that were tagging us in the I listened and we were like number 2, and I listened and you're number 3. And yeah, we were really chuffed with that. So thanks so much for all the brilliant help that you give our little podcast. We do really appreciate all your emails, all your messages, and we do try and get back to you in a timely fashion. Sometimes it doesn't happen quite quickly, but we promise we will get back to you as soon as we can. So yeah, thank you so much. We'll be back next week with my episode. So for now, be nice.
And bye.